everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connections. Today we will be interviewing the wonderful English soprano, Georgi Mottram. Hi, Georgie.
Hi, Natasha. Hi, everyone. Hi from Jersey.
How's everything weather like down here? Do you guys have like a white Christmas, or is it kind of balmy?
Like a white Christmas is so rare. We hardly ever. I think we had one when I was like 6 years old. But I mean, when I say white Christmas, I mean like there was a bit of hail and we were like, oh my God, it snowed. It like doesn't stick. It doesn't stick or anything. So today I went out for a run down to the beach, and it was like lovely and sunny, and there was like a rainbow, then a storm cloud came, then it was like raining, and it absolutely drenched me. I looked like a drowned rat by the time I came back. So it's very much like very, very English weather, like you can expect a lot of rain. It's not that warm. However, in the summer, because we're further down south than England, obviously we're like quite near, 21 miles from France. In summer, it's a bit warmer, which is nice. So we actually get like good summers here. But yeah, winter, as I was saying, like dark by 4:30, and yeah. But it's okay.
You're surviving though. You're dealing with all the rain.
Yeah.
So tell me, did you also grow up in Jersey? Like, what was it like growing up there in that community?
Yeah, so I grew up here until I was 16. So yeah, it was just idyllic. Like we spent every summer on the beaches, and it was just so lucky. And like me and my friends would play in the fields. Like it was so idyllic. It was so outdoorsy here, so we were just so used to. I was like a real tomboy, so we'd go and do this like game where we used to get bits of mud. We used to have mud wars with like the neighboring boys, where we were like 8 to 10 years old. So me and my best friend used to collect little like pieces of mud, and we used to like put helmets on and throw them at each other. It's like that kind of vibe. So yeah, I was very, very lucky to grow up here. And then I moved when I was 16 to Manchester to study at Cheetham School of Music, which is a wonderful music school. So 16 to 18, I did my A levels there, and it was just like an intensive rather, like music school, if you like. So I was boarding there, and so obviously that was in Manchester and a long way from Jersey. And then when I was 18, I moved to London to study at Trinity College of Music. Now it's called Trinity Laban, and just kind of carried on the journey. But yeah, I think Jersey was just, I mean, if you ever see the beaches here, it's just like idyllic childhood. I was so lucky. Yeah.
So tell me, when you went away to school, was that was like high school? Because I know ours is slightly different. Your A levels is kind of like when you're graduating high school here. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So my for my A levels, I went to Manchester to Cheetham School of Music. So that's when I did like my grade 8 piano, my grade 8 singing, and it was just very much like focused on singing. I went there as a classical singer, so like the training was so intensive there. So we would be doing our A levels as well. We were only actually allowed to do 3 because we had so much music. So we'd be doing like grade 8 music theory. Was it grade 8? Yeah, grade 7, grade 8 music theory, like every morning from 7:30 to 8:15. Then you'd go and have your breakfast, then you'd like have your lesson, you'd have practice time. I mean, your days would be very much from like 7:30 to about 8 o'clock at night. So you'd have like choir in the evening, you'd have practice time, you'd have your piano lessons, your singing lessons, and it was just intense. It was actually more intense than it was going to conservatoire. So like Cheetham's was the most intense training I've ever had. Whereas when I went to conservatoire, which was like, to get my degree or whatever, that was far more like independent learning, if you like. So I spent obviously hours in a practice room because it's like my favorite thing to do ever. I love practicing, and like especially so Trinity where I studied, it was it's at the old Royal Naval College. So it's just it looks like St Paul's Cathedral. So you get like the two chapels. Yeah, it's the same architect, Christopher Wren. I always get them. Christopher Robin and Charles Wren. It's something like that. I don't know. So it's the same architect that obviously like did St Paul's Cathedral. So outside the practice room, you'd just see like the River Thames, and you'd see Canary Wharf, and it was like, so I used to spend like all my time there. But yeah, Trinity was very much like more relaxed, whereas Cheetham's was intense. And yeah, I did my A levels there basically, and then had a bit of time traveling actually before I then moved to London. So I went traveling with my cousins to Southeast Asia, as you do. Yeah, it was really cool. And I went and did like loads of fun stuff. I went and did like a meditation course where I stayed in the mountains where Buddha was apparently born, and did like this intensive like 7-day meditation where we had to just wear white, and we had to give up our worldly goods, and we couldn't speak. We had to just sit literally in silence, and we had to fast all day as well. I remember that.
That must have been hard for a singer, right? Not speaking or singing.
Yeah, it was very hard for the first like 3 days. I was literally going crazy, and then there was like this like kind of like peace and serenity that just like comes over you. It's amazing, actually. It's quite good because that's where I kind of learned how to meditate and stuff. So it means that when I go back to it now, I've kind of have that foundation, you know. Whereas I think if I was to start now, I think it would be really hard to start, especially because like you know, our lives are so busy, and as a freelancer as well, we're like constantly on it, aren't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting, yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit more. So obviously you did, sounds like your fundamentals at the, was it Chester?
Cheatham. I know, it's like Cheatham. It's actually people, I think it's pronounced, no, it looks like it should be Chetham's, but it's actually Cheatham's. That's how we pronounce it. Yeah. Cheatham School of Music. Yeah.
So you did your fundamentals there. And then once you were doing more of the independent study, so how is the way that you practice? Because I know everyone kind of does their own. Are you someone that like sings through everything a lot of times, or do you kind of just do the rhythm, the text? Like, how do you practice?
Oh, this is so interesting. So it's been such a long time since I practiced arias for the first time, because obviously doing Ida Girls London show, we very much, it's, I mean, honestly, we have about 4 hours of material, but it's practiced in. So that's very much the bulk of my gigs. And because I've been gigging for 10 years now, all of the songs that I do in my gigs are so inbuilt. So I actually, learning something from scratch is really interesting now, because it's like very, I kind of like had to remind myself how to do it when I did a few arias for a Puccini aria for a gig that I did that was a request, and I was like, oh my god, how did I ever learn Italian? Like, how did I do it? But I very much used to do muscle memory, so I just used to sing through, which actually wasn't really very good. I just used to love singing through everything again and again, so literally the aria start to finish. And then I kind of realized that doesn't really work, like in terms of like getting better. And now the way I practice is I actually record myself. So I'll literally do, I mean, I get obsessed with it, but I do like a line and then I record it, listen back, and then I do it again and again. And I hear what I have to change or whatever. And then I do it again and again and again and again until it's done. But it means that, like, since I've been back with my family, they're like, you are crazy. Like, you're doing this. Are you doing this to annoy us? And I'm like, no, I just want to get it right. Like, it's honestly, and I've been known to go at something for like 4 hours, just like the same thing over and over again. So very much now it's like basically muscle repetition, especially because when Ida, you know, if I could still remember what it was like to gig all the time, but when we were traveling all the time, because we were like facing jet lag and like hardly any sleep and you know, basically conditions that weren't very good for our voice, like a lot of aircon, things like that, the muscles had to be so inbuilt in your muscles to be able to sing the full show. So we would do, what would we do? So the show would be an hour and a half, and we'd do an hour and a half sound check. So obviously, if you just like, I remember one time we flew in from Australia, and then it was the next day was our show, but obviously you're still jet lagged, like that amount of, you know, and the aircon and the dryness and everything. So basically I learned that I had to get it so in my muscles that no matter what my voice, you know, how my voice was, whether I had a cold, whether I had a sore throat, blah, 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 and I'd still be able to do it exactly the same. So yeah, so that's what actually working taught me, if you know what I mean. But yeah, at college I just used to like sing like Je veux vivre and just like sing it again and again and again, just like do the high note and find it fun. But probably not recommended.
No, and I think too, back at like, at least I know when I was in college, it's kind of like you recover faster, I feel like, when you're a bit younger. And then the older we get, the more we need to think about it more sensibly.
100%, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because when it's like you don't even have to warm up when you're younger. It's just like you roll out of bed and then you can just like, I've got one of my best friends actually is still like that. She's just finished postgrad. She's unbelievable. She just like made her debut at the Royal Opera House. But she very much, honestly, she will get out of bed and then you're just like, okay, can you sing that like top E? And she's like, yeah. And it's just amazing.
Insane,
like,
right?
How? It's like the college about like, how are you doing this? But yeah, no, very much not. I don't bounce back as quick. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So do you still warm up your voice every day, or do you take days off when you're just like, I'm gonna rest, I know I have a gig coming up, so I'm gonna take a couple of days off?
I kind of I don't really take any time off. So yeah, I think I just kind of power through. And would I find rest useful? I don't really. Again, this is the thing, because in gigs I might So at college, obviously it's all projecting, whereas now I've got a mic, so basically, like, this is naughty, but I kind of can half sing a lot of things, you know. So it's like, you don't have to go very loud when you got a mic, like you could really, so I had to kind of learn to, and I feel like the mic picks up my voice better when I'm not like belting it out, because there's just a lot of there's a lot of resonance when there's too much type thing. So yeah, because it's actually not that, I mean, I don't want to say it's not that hard, like, especially with the Ida Girls London shows, like, we're very much popping from, you know, like a top C to like, not a bottom C, but like maybe an E below middle C, like we're just everywhere all the time. So we're doing like runs, we're doing low notes, we're doing pop, we're doing opera, we're doing, you know, so, but because we're mic'd, it's like, it never really tires me out. I think it probably used to when I first started 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure actually I used to come off stage and be like, oh God, tired. And in fact, that's probably how I'm going to be like when we get back into it again. But yeah, because we've just done it so much, my voice doesn't really get tired anymore. I mean, touch wood, I say this, and when we get back to it, be tired again. Yeah.
So tell us, are you actually the one that came up with the idea of Ida Girls, or how did that come about?
No, so it was actually, so we met on, so we were all auditioning for, like, I guess, operettas and West End. So we'd all done a bit. I'd done like a lovely show at Charing Cross Theatre. It was a new musical and I played the lead. That was fun. And then like lots of shows around London. And by the time we did Princess Ida, I think I was 2 years out of college, and it was an off West End production. And that's where I met all the girls. So one of my best friends is Bridget Costello, who just played Christine in Phantom of the Opera on the West End. Nice. So it's like they all went on to do amazing things. And it was actually one of the Australian girl, Laura. She kind of said, "Oh, should we, like, I really want to stay friends with everyone. Should we sing together?" We were like, "Yeah, sure." So we all kind of sang together. And Wendy was in Ida Girls, not Ida Girls, sorry, Princess Ida, the Gilbert and Sullivan too. And we all got there and we all started singing together, and instantly, because I've got a bit of an entrepreneurial brain, like I've got another classical crossover quartet as well, so I instantly went, like, this is a good product, wow, like this is okay. So I kind of said to the girls quite early on, I was like, can I just like manage this? And I was like, I've got loads of ideas for us, blah, 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 blah. And they were just like, yeah, you know, yeah, sure. So then the first gig I got for us was on the BBC, which was live to like, I think it was like 3 million people. And it was like really last minute. And I said to the girls, I was like, girls, like, we've got a gig on the BBC like tomorrow, like brush up on these songs. So like, we've never done them before. I was like, you're just gonna have to do them. I was like, just turn up. We'll make it work. We'll just busk it. It's fine. So like the girls would tell you as well, like that's a very me thing to do. Because I always just like in college as well, I was just so used to saying yes to everything. You just say yes and make it work, because there's not that many opportunities around, right? So we had our first gig there. And then I think I organised like a show reel, and then I sent it to a few people, and then we got a cruise agent through that show reel, and then some kind of gigs there, and yeah, so it just, so very much like the gig side of it has been my baby. Like that's what I kind of do. I like to, you know, make connections, get us gigs, and then the music side, I think I used to have much more of a input in the beginning, but now it's just easy. You just have to kind of like, you all do your certain jobs, right? Because you can't do everything. So Wendy very much does like the arrangements, although Sarah also does arrangements, which is great. She's super talented at that too. So I guess I kind of like manage the group, if you like get us opportunities or gigs or you know, stuff like that, like do the website now. It was set up actually by the girl that moved to Australia, but yeah, and then we kind of delegate. So Jasmine, our half Persian, half English princess, she does, that's our line in the show. She helps me with the social media, so she does like Instagram, and Wendy does Twitter, and you know, it's kind of like everyone does their bit now, which is amazing. And yeah, awesome. So I think it just kind of happened organically, and we've just been so lucky with, you know, well, it's a lot of hard work obviously, and a lot of rehearsing, and a lot of unpaid, obviously rehearsing. We don't get paid for rehearsals. We do it because we love it, and we record music because we love it, and we do all that kind of thing. So yeah, we've been lucky. I think we've hit gold. And also the girls, we're all really good friends as well. So you get confused. It doesn't feel like work. It's like hanging out. So we have to be really strict, because once we get together in a rehearsal, we'll talk honestly for like 2 hours, and then we're like, oh, whoops. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, and then we like, yeah.
So if you guys have, is it 2 albums now or 1? I know you have the Christmas one.
Yeah, so we just have 1 album currently, so that's Believe, and that was funded by a Kickstarter, which was amazing. But we've actually just got funding by a wonderful charity in Jersey to do our next album.
Oh, exciting.
So, yeah, it's going to be really cool. Obviously, it's been really tricky because we could have got because of lockdown, and because like obviously you can't get into a studio, and Wendy's been in Scotland, and it's been kind of hard to do, but very much that's like next year we're gonna do that. And I think the album's gonna be kind of like Disney themed, film themed. Yeah, just like our kind of like favorite songs from the movies and musicals type vibe. And we'll get a choir on it hopefully as well. And yeah, so that's an exciting 2021 project. Yeah.
That's really awesome. Did you guys last time have your kind of Kickstarters come in and sing with you? Was that?
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that like?
So yeah, well actually, where was I? So I think that day, so it was all crazy because we were traveling to, like, I think we did something in Australia, and I think we were in America at one point. We were like in lots of different places. But if I remember rightly, that day, I think Wendy went and did that day. So she had maybe, I want to say like 10 Kickstarter people in. So one of the rewards, if you like, was that you get to, pay whatever it was, 20 quid towards the album, and then get an album and sing on the album as well. But I actually flew in and out in one day to Jersey to record the choir. So we had, we had like, I think we had like 200 children on the album as well. So I went with the sound engineer to record and to like conduct it and everything, literally in and out that day, because I think we had a gig the next day. It was something ridiculous, all that night. It was crazy. So I think it was a wonderful experience, so lovely, and like such special. It's just so special, isn't it, to have like people sing on it as well, and also to have like loads of children's choirs in Jersey sing on it. That means a lot to me as well. So yeah, it was a really interesting, but like a lot of work, but worth it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you've also been involved in a lot of these wonderful Songbirds concerts that Robert puts on.
Yeah, we have, and amazing, because Robert kind of found the group, I think, or like found us like maybe a year or 2 years ago. But I don't know whether you know the story about. So okay, right. Well, there's a love story in it. So
okay.
So basically, okay. Long story short, I was involved in doing one of these concerts, which was wonderful, and I was doing like my solo half an hour show or whatever. And my mum's friend at work, who she's worked with for 30 years, and my mum said, "Oh, are you on Facebook? Because Georgie's doing this online concert tonight." And she goes, "Yeah, my son just made it me like 2 days ago." So we went, "Oh, cool." So anyway, so she watched it, and then all of a sudden, Bob messaged, I think it was like me, and said, "Georgie, is that this woman called Lorraine?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my mum's friend." Like, yeah, like, so what? And he was like, "We used to date when we were like 18, when we were both in the military, and we lost contact. And I followed her to Jersey, couldn't find her, and then went and like had my life in Australia and haven't heard from her or seen her since." Anyway, long story short, so they become connected through this Songbirds, because obviously now they're both on Facebook. They both seen each other because they both watched, obviously, like Bob's organising it and Lorraine has like watched it. Anyway, so she's moving to Australia in 2021, and they're in love, and they've loved each other this whole time apparently. Like literally, like childhood sweethearts, lost each other and then found each other.
That is amazing. I mean, you hear what music can do, but that is incredible.
Isn't it? Like, it needs to be made into a movie. I hope I've got all the details right, but it's like amazing, just amazing. So Bob's, oh my god, like he does so well, just like you do with the classical crossover concerts, and yeah, unbelievable. I mean, I can't even. It takes such, I mean, like an incredible amount of work and hours and time and energy, and just like hats off to you, because obviously we've done one for done 2 for Ida now. I mean, the work and the editing, and like, especially because, do you edit the classical crossover stuff yourself?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Like, because I guess Songbirds is very much, we like, you give the video in, so you've you either do it live or you pre-recorded, depending on your internet, and then you give the video and then it just kind of plays. But what you do, which is like editing it all together, I can't even. Like,
so do you do it for Ida, or is it one of the other girls?
Yeah, so Wendy did it the first time for she actually did it both times. So Wendy did it, so did the first one we did, and then the Christmas one, Wendy did the bulk of it, and then she was like, can you do some like making it look pretty things? So I like put on like you can like fade in like pictures and like videos and stuff. So then I kind of did like just the finishing touches basically. So yeah.
Yeah, I have so much respect. I tried to do when we just had the three ladies sing together. And it was like, how do people do it when they have, like they have orchestras that are doing virtual performances? Crazy.
Oh my God. I know, literally insane, like the hours it takes, but like it's the only way that we can communicate now, right? It's like literally what else can we do? So it's like, it's incredible though, like doing the concerts, like the classical crossover concerts, and like how amazing, because it just I just feel like audiences are so grateful to have something, because it's like, and also artists are so grateful to be able to perform, even if it is to their camera, in the knowledge that they're going to be performing to people. Like, it just gives you like a sense of direction and purpose, and it's, it's amazing for the artists involved, and it's like lovely to be able to share music at this time where, nothing's going on. So yeah, incredible.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but it's so much talent popping up, and you just see these people. It's like, I just feel inspired all the time, because you just like keep hearing all these amazing people, and you're just like, wow, I gotta go practice.
I know. That's not practicing my runs. No, 100%. And also like seeing how people have become creative, like watching people do like videos and like what people are doing. So at the moment I've got this thing that I just like, it kind of like happened organically, because a few people asked me like requested some songs for me to do. So I was like, cool. And I was like, yeah, I can do a music video, like la la la, like basically like if you can pay me for my time, which isn't really, because it takes me about 8 hours, and yeah basically it's like, this is not really, it's like way below minimum, but it's okay. But yeah, that kind of happened organically, and then I got loads of people requesting songs and like for presents and music videos, and it's so uplifting for me to be able to then record something and like hear the reasons why, and know that it's going to like a loved one or this, and then I kind of make these music videos for people. And because obviously you've got like your camera now, your iPhone camera is 4K, right? You can film in 4K, and I've got my setup here because I do session singing as well. So I've got my like professional microphone here and whatnot, so I just record it professionally and then film it and do loads of different like angles, and then do like loads of fun slow-mo shots and stuff. And it's so wonderful to like have a purpose, and to know that that song means so much to them, and then I get to sing it for them and like be a little part of their, you know what I mean, like their story. It's just so lovely. So that's kind of been an interesting thing that's kind of popped out of lockdown for me, because I would have never thought about that before, and I didn't even think that people would like want me to do it, but it's been so like lovely and humbling, like people getting in touch and asking for requests and music videos and stuff. So yeah, it's cool.
I think it's been a great time to really get to know your fan base. You seem to have a lot of fans, Georgie. Whenever it's anything Georgie, people are like loving it everywhere.
Do you think?
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Oh, I don't know. Oh, that's so sweet. I don't know.
Sure.
I think like we've definitely, lockdown has meant that, because I'm not away and like on like rubbish Wi-Fi and stuff, I've actually been able to like get to know like people that have been supporting me, and it's so nice to be able to like, as you say, get to know and like engage with people, not because you want followers or some rubbish like that, just like because like it's so lovely that they're so supportive, and it's like actually like that means so much. And if you were at a live show, I would sit and chat to you for 5-10 minutes, whatever, like that's very much what I do after shows, and what I does after shows. We go obviously to the entrance and like just chat to people, because that's like one of the best bits, right? Like getting to know people. And so yeah, it's been really nice, like, because like I've got loads of people in my head now that are just so supportive, and like even like when you share things, like it means so much to artists, because it's like that's so just so lovely that you're just getting support, and we've never even met face to face, and you're going out of your way to like it's really lovely. So that's sweet that you said that.
No, and it's so great when people do that. I know if we'll have people watching this, you don't really realize if no one likes a post, like it dies. So the more people you actually, it really expands the audience. And like you're saying, you have people that you genuinely develop relationships with, and that's just I think that's really special, because I mean, obviously I love singers that I can just go to and like Joan Sutherland, she's incredible, right? But it's people really love that interaction, and it makes it more human,
and it makes it more like, yeah, absolutely, more human. And then when you're singing or when you're conveying the message, then you're a human that's had a connection with someone. So actually it means it just means more, doesn't it? And it just like lifts it up more. But like, again, what other profession, I mean, like, I guess it's just like entertainment industry, could you really have a connection out of nowhere? You know, like, it's amazing that music kind of breaks down that barrier, because it just touches people's hearts, doesn't it? So it's like, yeah, it's really, that is actually, now you said that, a really lovely thing to have come out of lockdown. It's lovely.
So tell us, how do people do those song requests? Is that through a Patreon, or do you have a page on your website?
Yeah, I just have a page on my website, so it says shop now, because you know I'm posh like that, so I was like, oh, my website is like so basic, so it's like shop now, just email her if you want one. And then so you like click on the little thing that you want. So I do MP3s. So I just did one like yesterday, 2 days ago, just before Christmas. I'm like literally getting lost in days, of 1,000 Years for someone, which was gorgeous. And then and then like My Heart Will Go On, which is lovely. And then I've had some really and some jazzy ones I've had as well, and Time to Say Goodbye, and like Nella Fancia and Havanera, and like just loads of lovely ones. So you basically click, and if you want a music video, it's £40. But as I was saying, it's like, you know what it's like editing, filming, recording, it takes all day, but it's worth it. So, and then an MP3 again, because I felt a bit, so the MP3 is £20, but only because you're recording it from scratch, and then editing it, and then mastering it and mixing it. It just takes hours. So that's that. And then there's a signed poster, which I felt a bit like weird about, but people asked for it, so I was like, are you sure? I was like, okay. I was like, I'm literally no one, but like, nice, okay. And like, so there's a signed poster on there if anyone wants a signed poster of me in a princess dress.
That's awesome. So everyone, if you want a very unique gift you can give someone, definitely go check out that page. And I think you'll be like, if you're the one receiving that, I think that's a wonderful gift to get, you know?
Yeah, I like the feedback that I've got is like, people have just been like so overwhelmed, and like they were like, we were just in tears, like that was the most special gift. And like I gave obviously a couple for Christmas, and one man was like, it's the best Christmas present I've ever got, it's so special, I'm still like tearing up about it now, because like I do lots of things, like I put pictures of like, you know, whatever it is, if it's like for your family member, I put like lots of pictures of you together, so it's just like personalized, you know, and it just makes the music mean something directly to that person. Like I do that as much as I can, you know. So yeah, that
sounds absolutely brilliant. So definitely check that out. Another awesome thing is you were actually signed to Artistry Management, which is run by Janny, who does the classical crossover show, right? So tell us about that.
Yeah, so that again like came totally out of the blue. So I got a call from Janny, or an email, because she said that Warwick and Young wanted me to sing a song for them or something like that. It basically started like that. So I was like, okay. So they sent me some songs, and then after a few weeks or whatever, they were like, we want you to sing the song that we premiered in your concert, in the classical crossover concert in October. Was it October? I'm just trying to think.
I think so.
I bet you do so many. So it was called The Boat It Sails By.
Yeah.
And then from there, they kind of both decided, they were like, you know, we want to manage you in your solo career and everything. And I'd kind of not really thought about like a solo career, to be honest, because because like I just my focus, you know, I was just like, oh yeah, like, because I don't know why I wouldn't have thought about it before, because I do a lot of solo things, especially in Jersey. Like I do a lot of the Jersey Opera House and a lot of solo gigs in London and stuff, but I just never really, I guess, you know, when your focus is so on something like I did, like I just never really thought about it. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll have a think or whatnot. But obviously, like, they're a brilliant team. Like Janny's brilliant, and so is Adrian Warwick. He's amazing as well. So then they just kind of said, can we sign you? And I was like, you know, yeah. And I was like, obviously, like I've got like commitments to IDA and everything, so that will still be. But I was like, but it's not gonna. It won't overlap, or it won't affect anything. I think it's just a case of like that's so we're going to be releasing a song in March, The Boat It Sails By, that we premiered at so we've got that. I think they said March April time, and so I'll be releasing singles with them, and yeah, it's exciting. It's just another like lovely project, and another lovely string to my bow, you know. Because I was I don't know whether you know, so I write music myself with a wonderful film
I didn't.
composer. Yeah, so he's called Darren J. Benjamin. He's amazing. We wrote Ida's song. We released it last year called Home. So if you haven't listened to it, guys, check it out. So yeah, it's Home by Ida Girls on like Spotify or iTunes or whatnot. So I write a lot with him as well, and it's just so lovely to have like all these I know, it just really enriches your life, you know, to have like Ida and then to be like, you know, singing songs, you know, singing new songs to be released for like, you know, as like a solo artist or whatever, and then like writing my own material. And it's just like, yeah, it's a really lovely, like rounded feeling that I've got with it all. So yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely use all your creative energies and all those different, right?
Especially now, right, when there's nothing to do. So it's just like get to the piano, play a song, do a bit of practice, write a song, do this, you know. Yeah.
So have you written a few songs over the lockdown then?
Yes, I have. We're trying to find we're trying to work out who we want to sing the songs at the moment, and like who they're for, and things like that. So yeah, so at the moment we're kind of in the stages that the songs are written and like instrumentally and like orchestrally and everything, it's all written and done and produced. Awesome. Like tracks produced. So it's basically like, who do we get on there? And so we've got, I've got like a male voice in mind, but I just haven't found him yet. I just haven't met him yet, who it is yet. So yes, I think the end goal with that is potentially to write a musical. So that's where we're kind of going. Amazing. So the songs are very like kind of classical crossover, a bit Disney, a bit musical theatre, that kind of vibe. I mean, like the Disney vibe's my thing, defo. So make everything sound Disney. So yeah, so that's quite exciting. So that's kind of like, you know, like 5 years down the line, it'd be to write a musical, but at the moment it's just to write songs that we can potentially put on in a theatre in London, you know, like kind of like a concert type thing of our songs, and then get like producers there and directors and see whether we can get, you know, the ball rolling on any of them. So yeah, that's super exciting as well, for sure.
That's amazing. And are you doing the lyrics or the music or both?
And so I do the lyrics and the melody for the voice. So very much Darren does like the music, and then you can always hear the suggested melody in his music. Lots of it's quite expansive though, so I kind of, there'll be some things that you can really hear what he wanted, but usually I've got a bit of a free reign. So yeah, I like the lyrics and the melody, what the voice does basically, which is lovely. And it's like really it's one of those things that you just can get into the zone with it, and like you don't really, nothing else is there, you know. So it's so what would be the word, like therapeutic basically. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, if you had to write, since you said you love Disney and you love to write, if you had to write a musical based on your favorite Disney character, who would it be?
That's so good. Well, actually, I watched the new Mulan last night. Have you seen it yet?
Yes.
The new one. Oh God, I just love it, because I'm a bit of a tomboy. I'm just like, yes, girl, like fight that fight.
Get out there,
yeah. So I reckon maybe Mulan. Like but also like the Disney soundtrack to Mulan is unbelievable. Like I'll Make a Man Out of You and just Reflection and all that. But yeah, I reckon it might be Mulan. But I particularly love Ariel as well. So maybe Ariel. But again, you can't really get any better than those soundtracks, you know. So it would be, I don't think I could do any better. So
but I could see like a classical crossover, like I could see with your hair, you could do Rapunzel too.
Oh yeah, I would get Rapunzel. Let's just get this.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually cut 3. I say this all the time, but I actually cut it all the time. I cut like 2 inches off the other day because because my mum was like, George, just looking a little bit long. It's like literally like you're almost sitting on it. So I was like, okay, fine. So I just get the kitchen scissors and like cut a bit off. And she's like, can you not use a hairdresser? And I'm like, no, because it's so long, you would never tell if it was a bit wonky, you know. Yeah. Just so much of it.
You have beautiful hair though.
Thank you very much. It didn't look beautiful today after my run, when it was like literally like out here like in the rain, like frizzy. But you know, when I tame it, then it can look nice. Yeah.
So what are some of the other things, you know, you talked about obviously Ida, you have this new adventure where you're going to be a soloist, and then maybe musicals in the next 5 years. So what are some of the other things you're looking to come up in 2021?
Well, so during lockdown, I actually trained as a breathwork practitioner, which is a really interesting. I mean, I've always been into like holistic medicine. I've always been into like healing modalities and things like that. It's always kind of my jam. but I started breathwork basically myself, and it was so transformative that I was like, oh my God, I'm going to use this time. I mean, when England and when Jersey really went into lockdown around March, when it all kind of kicked off, and this course actually came up in March, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. I've not really invested in myself since college. So I was like, I'm just going to invest and I'm going to become a breathwork practitioner. So it was an incredible course, and it's brilliant. So I've actually been working with some people from in like the theatre industry basically. So I've got people that have been in shows in the West End and stuff that do breathwork with me. And like some of my friends are doing it now with me, but I've not really like launched it yet or anything. So I don't know whether it's definitely something I want to do for people, because it's essentially like a really potent form of meditation. It just basically like strips like anxiety or tension or negativity from your body. So obviously you usually get like you go to therapy obviously for your mind type thing, or you can do, that's like one way to kind of like, heal things, but this very much just targets the body. So it's like a really potent form of like yoga meditation, and it happens very quickly. So if you come to the mat or you come with me for a session like anxious, it's like gone. Wow. And usually it's gone for good, because it kind of like literally strips the body of this like negative negative energy, just neutralizes the charge. It's really cool. So I really like it, and I really like seeing people and seeing how it helps as well. So that kind of really lights me up. So yeah, I think maybe a bit more of that. But I mean, who knows? I've got to write a musical for, like this year, and then write the next Disney for like, so I've got lots of things to be doing. But yeah, that would be a lovely thing if I could carry on doing that for sure. Yeah.
That sounds so interesting. I'm intrigued by that. I did, have you ever done a laryngeal massage before?
Oh yeah. Yeah, love them. Absolutely.
So love them. It's very interesting though, right? The first time you're like, what is going on? Can you do that?
And also like, get off my neck. Like, oh my God. I don't know whether they do that. Do they do that one with you where you have to like stick your tongue out?
No, they did. I didn't do the tongue, but it was just the movement. I didn't think you could move it. I was always quite scared to move it. And yeah.
And they go for it, don't they? Yeah, I went to loads of them like a couple of years ago. I was doing Les Mis over in Jersey, and my voice actually at that time, so in 25 years old, was getting tired. And actually my voice was kind of like, I would be singing on a note and sometimes it would like crack type thing, not crack, but it would like, I'd come off the note. I was basically like, my voice was getting tired. And I did those massages, and it totally transformed me. So good. Yes, I really rate them. I've not had one in so long. I mean, we're probably not allowed to have them at the moment, are we?
Yeah, right.
When they open, I shall go and get one. Yeah.
Well, it's been so lovely to talk to you, Georgie. We're looking forward to the Ida album, and then also your single coming in March.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And also, you've got another concert coming up in March as well, haven't you?
We do, yeah. And I think you've already been asked, or you're or you're about to be.
You've got like 100 people about you. Like, have you been asked? If you're a bit awkward if you haven't. Yeah, no, I've been. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do it with Robert, with Jenny, and with the lovely Julie from Classical Crossover Community. So it should be really fun to get everyone involved. Have you guys? And I think you're singing as Ida. I think.
Oh yeah, nice.
Or maybe you're singing as a solo for Jenny too. I'm not sure.
It's a surprise. I don't know. Yeah,
we're spilling all kinds of secrets here, but
yeah.
So we'll definitely be excited to show everyone that concert and to have you perform there. And are you also a part of any Songbirds concerts coming up?
The one in February, yes, the Valentine's Day concert, which would be lovely. Yeah,
fabulous. Because that's all love songs. Are you going to wear a big red princess gown for that?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't have a red one yet, but I mean, that's a good excuse to get one. No, I mean, I've got. Oh God, you should see the amount of gowns I've got. No, I'd probably choose one of my red dresses. They're all secondhand, by the way. I get them all at charity shops.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm not just like buying fast fashion. But yes, I'll wear one of my lovely red gowns, I think.
We might have to get you to do like because I'm trying to come up with new features, not just interviews. So maybe we'll have you do like an Inside My Closet with Georgi Mottram.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Natasha, it would take all day. Literally, everyone would be like inside my closet the whole day, the 24-hour special.
That's awesome. Okay, so we'll say maybe like your top 5. Maybe that's better. That's one of
Yeah,
our
definitely.
goals too, is to get, obviously when we're allowed, is I do a little photography. So I want to start taking more photos and unique videos of you guys. So it's
Oh,
coming.
nice. Oh, amazing. That's so cool. Oh, amazing.
So we're hoping for better things in 2021. Thank you again so much, Georgie.
Oh, you're so welcome. See you later.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
I really hope you enjoyed today's interview. I had a lot of fun talking to Georgie. Unfortunately, I had my notes covering my camera, so I didn't exactly see that I was falling out of frame. So apologies for that. We'll do better on the video quality next time. Keep an eye out. We're going to have another special collaboration concert coming March 28th, and we'll be releasing those details soon, maybe even before this interview is up. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unfortunately, we had some issues on Facebook with our crossover Christmas concert. We had over 3,000 views very early on, and then unfortunately they muted the concert. So that was a big disappointment for me, and we're making the decision to focus mainly on YouTube for our concerts going forward. So if you would like to see our next concert, definitely subscribe here. Also, if you'd like to join us over on Patreon for exclusive behind the scenes looks, go ahead and check out the link below. As always, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.